Hey everyone, and welcome to the final episode of SNU Amplified Season 1, where we keep it real, raw, and unfiltered. I'm your host Samedi Phaldar from Semester 5 of BTech in Computer Science Engineering. And today's episode is going to be nothing short of inspiration. We are joined by a guest whose story bridges the world of technology, literature, and leadership. A man of many hats, IT consultant, TED speaker, author, Toastmaster, and many more. Please welcome the incredibly talented Mr. Ayan Pal, sir. Hello, sir. Thanks for joining us. We are honored to have you here.
Same here, Shomudip. I'm looking forward to this.
So, sir, let's start from the beginning. Growing up in Kolkata in a joint family, then engineering in Bangalore, and the whole creative explosion from there. Could you tell us about your journey from being an engineer to one of India's most recognized short story writers?
I think it's a journey that happened because it was somewhere meant to happen. I believe there are no coincidences in life. However, you have to have a purpose. I was always very interested in literature, probably my schooling and the kind of library I had, and stories always fascinated me. There's stories everywhere, and I wanted to add on to these stories. And as an engineer, we learn as many as 60 plus subjects. So you're already learning so many things, you're going through so much. And I think when you're an engineer, you can do everything. Engineers manage to just do everything. So somewhere that literary bug stayed alive. And being a part of a matriarchal joint family, if I may add, that just helps you observe so many people, see so many things happening. And of course, coming from Calcutta, Kolkata, whatever you call it, there's stories all around us. I think all of that and that influence and the culture and the book fairs and everything just came together. And even though I am professionally an engineer, I also wanted to be an author. And in the year 2014, I did manage to do that. So it's been a fun journey, but something that I feel is partly destined and partly because I wanted it to happen. I was always wanting to be a storyteller, and somehow I found a way to tell my stories.
That is incredibly amazing, sir. You have also contributed in so many anthologies and also co authored Crossed and Knotted, India's first composite novel. So, sir, could you tell us about how the process was? How did so many authors align to come up with one cohesive story?
That's a very interesting question. I have to give credit to two people. Dipankar, the publisher, and Indrani, the editor. So what we used to do is we first had a competition really across India, sort of, across the world really, but mostly India, in which we selected storytellers. I was one of them who was handpicked sort of for this. And then what we used to do is one story would be written and the second person would have every option of taking something out of that story and narrating another one. And then the third person would be taking the first and second story and taking something out of that. It was like a round robin in which we were all chirping, but also making sense. Honestly, it was a very difficult experience. And I still remember when the next author took elements of my story and interpreted it in a different way. I was like, no, that's my baby. That's not what I meant for it. I had given clues, but he had chosen other clues. But I think the beauty lies in bringing your own individualism, by which the stories are stories by themselves, but they are also chapters of a very myriad, interesting series of tales. So Crossed and Knotted is the name of the book, and I'm hoping some of you will try reading it. Many people have told me it's unputdownable, and it's something I really, really enjoyed being a part of. I think we all collaborated beautifully, but there was no overlap. We could do more because for us it was not a chore, and the stories were anything but a bore.
That was awesome, sir. And also, sir, your solo novel, Confessions on an Island. It's dark, introspective, and layered. So, sir, could you tell us what inspired the themes in that book?
Wow. Confessions on an Island is set in Malaysia and in a lot of places around the world. I have obviously been to Malaysia, and some of these places either I have been or others have been. But even though it is completely fiction and has no resemblance to any person dead, alive, or about to soon die, I think the emotions are all real. They are things that I have felt or have seen in people around me. So the inspiration for the book are real people, things that have happened, certain psychological things that have happened. I cannot give more away because it's a psychological thriller. But Confessions on an Island has always been a very, very special book for me because it reflects the way I am, the way I think. And I can tell you, unless you are psychotic, you cannot guess the ending of the book. And many, many people have told me that. Thankfully, touch wood, it's still the highest rated psychological thriller on Goodreads as well as Amazon in the last 10 years. And one of India's newspapers, I think it was Dainik Bhaskar, had also chosen it as Book of the Year. But then not everything is for everyone. I hope that someday it comes on celluloid. Maybe someone listening would get that idea. And maybe you will see a different version of it. But for the time being, it exists as a book. And maybe you might want to take a look.
I would love to take a look at the book, sir. I would love to ask you this question. If you were to stay in a marooned island and you have to make a confession to the world, what would it be?
I think me being me and me being from Kolkata, it's going to be, I'm hungry. I need food. Not just food for thought, but also food. Because I think my biggest fear in a marooned island will be, where am I getting food from? No, you might like sushi, but not when you're in a marooned island. Trust me. No raw fish for me. But jokes aside, we take a lot of things for granted in life. And when you are on a marooned island, if you are, I think your survival instincts would kick in. It will for me, it will for any of us. And as Darwin said, survival of the fittest. No matter whether you're intellectually fit or physically fit or you're very agile, it doesn't matter. You have to get all of it together. And definitely food should be on the top of your mind. Not ending up as food on someone else's plate should also be on the top of your mind. So maybe these two will help me unwind as well as rewind to my own story.
That is definitely some real confessions to make, sir. Sir, you have also spoken at institutions like IIMs, IITs, and even done a TED talk titled, "When there is a lamp, there is a way." That metaphor, the lamp, it's beautiful. Could you tell us more about what that means to you and how it shapes your philosophy?
Well, you see, we suddenly might need a lamp because the lights were flickering. So I think that's a divine intervention. Well, you need to watch the TED talk or the TEDx talk. There are two similar talks. One is where there is a lamp, there is a way. Another is when there is a lamp, there is a way. To find out what lamp means, I would not give it away. But I think we all need to find that lamp because that lamp showcases innovation and ignition. People need to ignite the passion within to be able to move forward. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. And you have to get your own lamp. You're not going to get a genie taking care of it. So find your own lamp, rub it a little, and maybe the genie that comes out will remind you that you are the master of your destiny and you can get not 1, 2, or 3, but as many wishes as you want. There's more in the TED Talk. Maybe you can go out and find out more.
That was really amazing, sir. So, sir, now switching gears, you're also an IBM-accredited IT consultant. Managing a corporate career and a creative one is no easy feat. So, sir, could you tell us how you manage both worlds without losing momentum?
I think that's a very interesting question. I was able to do that through multitasking, which I picked up at Toastmasters, to be very honest. It's an organization I've been a part of for a little over 15 years, and it taught me a lot of multitasking. However, I believe I'm able to do whatever I'm able to do because I focus on only one thing at a time. So right now I'm speaking with you, Shomudip. I'm not worried about what's happening elsewhere. When I'm playing with my daughter, who is going to be turning 9 very soon, I'm only focused on her. When I'm watching Avengers, obviously I'm only focused on the Avengers, right? You can't focus on multiple things at the same time. So while it is very important to pursue different things in life, if you want to, it's very important, Shomudip, to focus on one thing at a time. And I do that. So I have got different things happening in my life at the moment, but I segregate different time slots for different things. When I'm writing, I'm just writing. When I'm doing my job at IBM, that's all I'm focused on. Sometimes I'm just sitting and thinking. You have to give yourself that time, and laziness is also important. When I'm eating, I'm just eating. So no matter what you're doing, as long as there is no cheating, you will be able to ensure that there is enough food and enough food for thought. For me, it comes by prioritizing, delegating, and understanding what needs to be done when. When you focus on the right things at the right time, and when you understand the main thing is to keep the main thing, there will be light, your future will be bright, and you will be able to come out of a situation tight, and in the process, showcase your might. Am I not right?
Yes, exactly. You're definitely right, sir. That is a real takeaway, guys. Focusing on one thing at a time is going to take you places. Trust me. Okay, sir. I would like to ask you this. Has your work in tech ever influenced your way of writing? Maybe in discipline, structure, or even in themes?
I would say all of that and more. Some of my characters are people that I've met in the technology arena. I think many of my characters are digitally very sound, they're very well read. And of course, since we all know that social media and digital technology is so important, that aspect is also there. I also have used technology to my advantage. I don't actually write with a piece of pen because for me it's a little painful. So I type. So the fact that I can type very quickly because I'm an engineer or whatever, that really helps me. So I use technology to my advantage. It helps me do a lot of research. So I don't have to sometimes go to libraries to nose through books. I did that, of course. I have a Wikipedia at my home as well. So that's one of my earliest, very, very prized possessions that my mom got me. But then the fact that you have knowledge at the tip of your fingers, that you have data that can analyze things for you, that can analyze patterns and help you fact check is very important. While I have to tell you that you cannot blindly trust AI and you should be very, very careful when you're using artificial intelligence, because not everything that you read is going to be true, but it can definitely be something that can assist you to ensure you don't end up doing something that is not original or you get the data wrong. It will help you with your setting, it will help you with your plot. So I use technology to my advantage, but at the end of the day, whatever I do is very, very creative. It comes from within. It's my story. Technology just gives it that little sheen to make it stand the test of time.
That was very well said, sir. Sir, on behalf of all the student body, I would love to ask you a question. There is this term going very viral on the internet and among teenagers nowadays about the term corporate majdoor. So, sir, could you tell us, is it true that people after getting into corporate become a corporate majdoor?
Interesting. So if you want your career to go dur, as in far, you have to start off by being a majdoor and maybe a majboor as well. We all have to start somewhere, which is completely fine. But if you use that opportunity to learn, in the process you will earn. What will you earn? Not just money, but also the tools and capabilities and the expertise to ensure that you can rise. And the only way to do that is to think of this as positive and not as vice. That would be my advice.
That was amazing, sir.
Thanks.
Sir, you have also achieved the DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster, not once, not twice, but 4 times, and were one of the first from Kolkata to do so. So, sir, what has Toastmaster taught you about leadership, confidence, and storytelling?
It has actually taught me quite a lot of things, but it's taught me to raise a toast to myself and to my friends' successes. I think Toastmasters is an organization in which we are mutually very collaborative. We support each other to be our best versions. And Toastmasters has taught me that your only competition is you. And I believe when we compete with ourselves to become better versions as ourselves, everyone wins. And you can all together raise a toast for yourself and for collectively each other.
That was wonderful, sir. Sir, you have also represented India in literary and cultural events globally, like the Saptan Stories initiative by the British Council. So, sir, could you tell us how it feels to have your work presented as part of the UK India Year of Culture?
Well, I'm not yet a sir, I'm not yet knighted, but it did feel like that I was a knight in shining armor. It was an amazing experience to be chosen to have the multiple Oscar-winning Aardman animations helped turn my writing into these 9 feet tall murals. And for Queen Camilla to say she's a fan of my writing, for King Charles to shake my hands, it was very good. And I think there was a lot of, he himself tweeted about us, his official Twitter handle. It's still there on my website. I think that was a very, very beautiful experience. And Saptan Stories is 7 people writing things together. So that also has a reflection to what I'd written before. So I believe whatever happens in your life happens for a reason. It happens for a purpose. You may not understand it now. At some point of time, it will definitely become clearer. But to be able to hold the India flag high and as an Indian, and among so many billions of people, to be that one whose work was showcased is an amazing feeling. But I hope no matter where you are, you understand that we are all brands by ourselves and we all represent not just ourselves, but also our schools, our colleges, our family, our surnames, and our country. And no matter where you are, how far you reach, as long as protocols you do not breach, you will definitely be proud. At least that's what I felt. I felt very proud. I felt very humbled. And I felt this was indeed an opportunity of a lifetime. And I will always remember and cherish that memory.
Wow, sir, shaking hands with the king himself. That is a really good memory.
He was a prince then. He's a king now. And of course, I was also invited when he became the king. So there was a very special event I was invited. So lots of stories later that happened. But of course, some of it is already there and some of it is going to happen. So let's see.
That's really inspirational, sir. Sir, since this podcast is under the initiative of the C3A department, the Center for Corporate and Career Advancements, so I would love to ask you this question. What are your top tips for students who want to improve their soft skills, and what advices will you give for life skills?
Wow. So I think there's both soft skills and life skills. The first thing is I believe there are no soft skills. These are power skills. If you really look at the way things are headed, every data suggests that power skills would be the skills that will get you most employed, and creativity is definitely one of the keys. So for me, there are 3 words: listen, learn, and lead. So first, listen. Listen for need and envision the future. That's what I believe as an IBMer. Learn. You have to understand that learning is not a one-step process. You have to learn, unlearn, relearn. The more you learn, the more you will earn in every respect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. And the third is lead. I think a leader is not just someone who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way, but a leader is someone who creates more leaders. The best way to teach is also the best way to amplify your reach. And that's the best way to learn as well. So if you want to really learn, teach, amplify your reach, and to be able to do all 3 of them, there is this one magic word which is a favorite of Shashi Tharoor. And that magic word is read. Read, not just listen. Read, not just learn. And read if you want to lead. That's how you will breed more and more and more, and you will definitely grow in life. Last but not the least, the life skill. Remember, and this is something I'm going to be borrowing from Ginny Romiti, one of my favorite IBMers, who has also been a CEO, the first woman CEO, is growth and comfort do not coexist. Don't get comfortable with where you are. Be uncomfortable. That's what will take you places. And I hope all of you go places with not just this podcast, but everything that you're doing. Thank you.
That was really insightful, sir. Thank you for those valuable pointers. Now, sir, before we wrap up, let's do a fun little rapid fire round.
Okay.
Let's get with the questions. Pen or keyboard?
Keyboard.
Suspense or satire?
Both.
One book you reread often?
One book I read often would be, it's not really a book, but stories from the Puranas and Mahabharata. I think Mahabharata is there in all of us, and that is something I have always learned a lot from.
If you could go to dinner with a person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Shushmita Sen. I'm a huge fan.
A word you live by?
Have faith. God helps those who help themselves. To be able to make any difference, have faith in yourself, and everything else will follow.
That is wonderful, sir. And that brings us to the end of this episode. The end of season 1 of SNU Amplified. That was Mr. Pal, weaving his words that stayed with us long after they were spoken. Thank you, sir, for amplifying with not just your words, but your thoughts that inspired us all. To our listeners, thank you for growing with us, for learning with us, and for being a part of this journey. Season 1 may be closing, but you should know something new is coming right around the corner. This is SNU Amplified, where voices find their echo. Until next season, keep this conversation real, raw, and unfiltered. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys, and meet you in the next season.
SNU Amplified, bohu counter. It kinda unified. Uni for me, unified. Our legs get electrified because we are SNU Amplified. Real, raw, unfiltered. We can't be altered. Hard left to make a honey, hard bath. Nejunu ye asali hebe baka he sachiki he ton. Nek katar, nek kono mukosh, nek kono bondhon. Prokrito arte kane, onubudi onubredon. Hear us loud and clear. Cause this is SNU Amplified, my dear. Real, raw, unfiltered. Perfect to render. Oh, perfect to render. Oh, 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 oh. Vohu konto.